it is better you first carry out your soil sampling so that the farmer is able to know how much water the plant needs in its entire life. But also do fertilizer quantification or fertilizer budgeting, because I am able to tell that I will need this amount of nitrogen, amount of phosphorus and water.
Well, tune in this Saturday at 8 p.m. on your NTV Uganda and know how to. Welcome to another episode of NTV Seeds of Gold, where we bring you inspirational farming stories. And I do not say that lightly, because today we are going to get more than inspired. Tonight we are on Hope Organic Farm in Bulange Mengo. Yeah, right in the middle of town. So you're going to learn a little bit of something about, farming within the city, urban farming. And we all need it. Some of you don't like to go to the village, but hey, this is the episode for you. We are now at the ladies' point. Well, it's not that the plants are female. No. It's that Benon thinks about us.
This thing doesn't require a lot of labor. It's something that you can wake up on and do your watering, do your spraying. You can even make your home remedy.
The farm is utterly comprehensive. So we are making money in every sense of the word. So if we are not harvesting the tomatoes or the onions or God knows what else will be in the mother garden, we are selling seedlings. This is Robusta coffee, I like to believe, yes. And I see some of it is covered, some of the seedlings are covered over and others are not. Could you explain that for us?
Yeah, the other one which are covered with shade nets, they are still in their tender stage.
I see.
They are not yet fit for transplanting. So this one, once they get ready, we ensure that we at least expose them for something like a month or two. Yeah? For them to get hardened or to get acclimatized with the environment. So they get to use it with this outside environment. So that by the time you plant them, they don't get that stress, and they just take over like that. So that's the little. All
right. So there's so much to see and so much to learn. Now we have strawberries here as well, and the seedling goes forward up to about 3,000 shillings. Yes. Then we have the seedlings for the tomatoes. We have seedlings for the onions.
Yeah.
You really have a good thing going here. Now, I asked about organic farming, and those of you who want to understand and truly comprehend some of the best fertilizers, we have a fish pond that is right below a chicken house or pen. Tell them about this. I could tell them, but hey, it's your time to shine. So tell them about this water and how amazing it is for the plants.
There is some life under this water.
Yeah.
There is fish, and what we put there down, we raised a poultry house.
Yeah.
That poultry house, they are birds. They give us eggs. That's the first benefit. But indirectly, they give us this chicken droppings. These chicken droppings, once the droppings drop into water, the pond is getting fertilized with the algae. This algae acts as phytoplankton for fish, so that we can be able to minimize the cost of buying fish feeds. So that's the essence in it. So that's now the thing. We are trying to minimize the cost, the spaces, as I told you, that we need to also to optimize our spaces, because to put such a structure on an independent grant, it must have occupied
a little bit of space.
Yeah,
it's better right there.
Yeah,
you have two enterprises running at the same time.
Yes.
And the water in itself can be a fertilizer
We use this water to fertigate also the pond, where we harvest this water, and after which we water our crops, especially during the dry season. So this is also a liquid foliar feed as well, or for liquid foliar fertilizer at this time. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I saw the fishies.
Yeah.
So we have something else going on here. You know, one would wonder, okay, what's with the trench and with the polythene and all? So what, you know, is with the trench?
We established this trench just to manage water. You know, water, when it becomes rainy season, it becomes a very big problem. So, you know, we are in urban setting.
Yeah.
Once water is not managed, it becomes a threat. It pushes walls, and
of course,
even houses can be destructed. So we use this cavera just to manage this water flow up to our water pond. You're going to see our water pond. That's where this is just the catchment area. So reaching there, it is where we harvest it from. We make sure that this water is filtered, because it is coming from different
all over.
Yes, so have to filter it, and once it is filtered, it is fit for this farm,
for irrigation and all.
Yes.
That's very innovative. It's very innovative and interesting.
So we have to embark at this water, this channel with the paspalum.
Yes.
Just on the edge of it. So this paspalum reduces the impact of water runoff.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put paspalum or some grass, the soils will be driven.
Yeah.
And destroy.
So in a way, it breaks the flow.
Yes. So from the upper side you have been, and even the other side, those are all water catchment areas.
Yeah.
Water come at a very high speed. The reason why we put there paspalum on that lane is to minimize the speed, and even that paspalum or that grass traps the silt, so that not all silt come and enter into our pond. But the one which has escaped the silt, it comes here. This is our silt trap. This silt trap traps all the debris that must have come with runoff.
Yeah.
So the silt sits down, and here there is an overflow. Here where I'm standing here, there are three layers. The first layer is the hardcore. The second layer is the charcoal dust. The third layer is the sand, the lake sand. So those three layers form up what we call a filter. So in order for water to go through that channel, it must have been filtered. But you know, water comes at a very high speed. There is also a channel here which at least takes away some excessive water, while some amount of water is also filtered here to avoid that overflow onto this channel, which acts as the what? Which collects clean water.
Yeah.
There is also blockage here. When you want to this blockage here, it acts as a barrier for water to go straight, not to be diverted into the soak pit. So this barrier here, also we remove it for us to, like, when we want to wash this filter. When we want to wash this filter, we make sure that this blockage is removed for the dirty water to go there, and we also put back into normal this filter. Yeah, that's how we do it.
These are tomatoes at their early stage.
Yes.
I see there's a bit of spraying here. At this stage, how much spraying are we doing? You know, the chemicals do bother people a bit. For the farmers, they don't know when to spray, how much to spray. For the customers, they do not know whether the spraying is safe for them. So maybe we could answer both. Yeah.
So managing crops or plants, it's like managing or monitoring the health or monitoring the animals or human beings. So each stage of a plant has got a different attack or different challenges. Feeding management or fertilizer management, pesticides, fungicides, they have got different challenges at a different stage. Now see, here, blight diseases, like diseases like blight light, tomato spot diseases, they are very common at this stage. So the technique here is that we monitor, we make sure that all plants here are well monitored, and we also give them the right fungicides, which is different from these ones which have started ripening. This one still need a lot of fertilizers, these young ones. But the other one which are still young, they no longer need a lot of fertilizers, because when you give them fertilizers, they will start showing cracks, and they will eventually die off. Yeah. So it is not good to give them a lot of fertilizers. Still, even these sucking pests, sucking pests normally attack the flowers. Yeah. So such sucking pests, we intend now to monitor and see which pesticide is suitable for this stage. That's the kind of work we do here. Nice. We don't mix pesticides. We don't use same pesticides. The older ones need different arrangements. Unlike these young ones, yeah.
So Benon, I'm looking at your technique. I'm looking at the string. I'm looking at the poles. How you know what's the damage to the pocket when it comes to these materials?
It's not raising money for this. Not a very big problem, because a single pole like this is at 2,500, and you can get around 2 or 3 pieces. And when I compare it to other methods of mulching, so the cost of establishing these poles, of bringing these poles, it can even double.
Yeah.
So this one is cost friendly, because you just need to go where poles are sold from. You count your poles, then you pick them up, you bring them here, and you position your garden. You do the lining and marking, then you start raising those things on trellis. But in mulching, gathering mulches is not something easy. First, it becomes a threat to those who cuts. The puff adders that are there, some reptiles.
Where?
Live in the bush, because it is a home for this. It is a habitat for reptiles. Even there are some other notorious pests which can threaten your life. So we are not putting our thoughts on what? On mulching crops,
Okay.
on mulching in this kind of settings. Still mulches, I don't want to encourage people to mulch, to discourage, people to mulch, but still, even mulching has got to see what? Repercussions.
Yeah.
Like the cost of gathering those things, even it also needs an expert or an experienced person to do that mulching. Mulching alone needs some knowledge at least.
Of course.
Yeah, and another thing, some pests can be harbored underneath the what? The mulches.
That's
so
true.
I don't want to discourage, but still it has got also what? Its repercussions. So another thing here, you know, we may have some jealous neighbors who can set fire on it. So such issues are not found within this system.
It's better to stay away.
Yes.
Stop tempting the universe.
Yeah. So that's why we choose this kind of arrangement. Another thing is the other lifetime of the tomato. Under this system, the tomato can receive fertilizers at any time, at any stage of its life. But the other one, you apply once and the crop covers the what? The entire space.
Place,
so managing it is not easy, not that easy.
Okay.
So you cannot get the maximum profit the way we can get from this system.
So you're not injecting in so much money, and yet you're getting a lot out of it.
Yes.
And at the same time, you're mitigating any diseases and pests that could be very, very problematic at a later stage. All right, speaking of a later stage, I would love to see the tomatoes that are ripening. Then we can discuss those boxes and time for harvesting. Now that we are friends, we can talk about the millions that we are going to get from our ripe tomatoes. So let's go check out the ripe tomatoes. Believe me, you are going to love it. So now we are in, the more advanced part of the garden with ripening tomatoes. And I can now see how your idea of the spacing comes into play. The plant is giving us so much fruit, and yet there's still room, for you to pass through, for you to check, to monitor and see if... I see a little bit of the light green on the leaves. What's that? This is it telling you it's aging.
Once there is an enzyme that comes in to induce the ripening. The ripening does not stop on the fruits only. It also can also go to even leaves. So now what we can do here is to pick up the red ones as to leave these ones with a space so that they can also do what? They can also thrive and
so after we pick the garden, we leave the garden be, it continues to thrive?
It continues because there are still flowers here.
Yeah, you can see they're still flowering.
They're still young tomatoes. Yeah.
Well, I can see that. That's very interesting. So what's the care like here vis-a-vis the other stage, the younger stage?
At this stage,
do we have less to worry about in this stage?
At this stage, blight diseases are minimal. Even some pests don't just attack because these ones have already hardened. Yeah. They have that turgidity and everything, so they cannot easily be affected. So another thing here, even diseases like blight don't affect. The fertilizer application is very minimal. We don't apply a lot of fertilizer because they are already in their ripening time. So we don't now apply a lot of fertilizers the way we give those ones which are still in their juvenile
because
stage.
The others, we still need them to grow. And these ones have pretty much reached maturity.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I love your garden, Benon, and I think it's...
Thank you.
I think there's so much people can learn from you and so much they can buy from you. I think it's very impressive.
should remove these fruit stalks because they can easily damage your tomatoes. Make sure you don't put them there. You remove them off. You only pick the ripe ones. You shouldn't pick like this one. You shouldn't pick. From I've picked it, but don't pick it. Maybe if the customer needs if the customer needs this stage, you can pick them. But these ones you can leave them to stay. Don't just pick them. So you only pick the ripe ones. Pick the ripe ones only. Remove the casing while picking. Okay?
We are now at the lady's point. Well, it's not that the plants are female. No. It's that Benon thinks about us, the females. So if you're bored at home and you want to do something, you have a small space, well, Benon has got you covered. You can't do this yourself. He can come and do it for you, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, he can come and do it for you. Or you can just buy this from the farm. It's a demonstration farm. At the same time, it's something that you can put in your very own backyard. So instead of watching, that soap opera, tend to the tomatoes, tend to onions in this style. And I must say it's quite effective, especially if you're in an urban setting. So, Ben,
sure.
How easy is it to take care of this, lady's point?
This thing doesn't require a lot of labor. It's something that you can wake up on and do your watering, do your spraying. You can even make your home remedy. And you mix the baking soda, mix ash, some ethanol, then you start deterring the pests. So this is something that is very, very easy. You can do it on your balcony yard, you can do it in your hood and your whatever, and you will really enjoy the fruits because we know every homestead has got a need to this.
Tomato is very
important. Yes.
Everybody uses it in their food.
Yeah. So it is movable. You can lift it, you can put it anywhere you want.
So if you don't want it in that corner anymore, you can move it to the other corner.
Yeah, you can lift it, you can transfer it. So it is very, very
this is a mobile, convenient garden. It doesn't get any better than this at all. Like at all. So if you think that being in Kampala, in the city, or whatever other city that you live in, you're sorted. You can do this anywhere. You can grow other vegetables. You can grow your tomatoes right at home, on your balcony, on your veranda, in your backyard. And Hope Organic Limited has got you covered.
I'm a tomato grower by birth. There are specifics you need to look at. This crop called tomato, what does it need? The first thing, you need to look at where you are going to put it. You clear the garden. There, after that, you need to look at the first fertility. Tomato needs between 6 to 7 pH. When we talk about pH, we look at the alkalinity and the acidity of the soil, which means it needs a lot of fertility. Because this is a plant that needs, grows vegetatively, puts on leaves, puts on fruits, it consumes a lot of NPK. That's for nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. It is better if you are a serious farmer to start with to get some, if you can afford manure from cow dung, it's good. If you cannot afford, you can go for synthetic fertilizers, okay. But me, I don't. They do better when they start with good organic matter. What I mean organic matter, those are decayed materials that or big materials that is converted into small particles called organic matter that can feed the plant, that has NPK, natural NPK, specifically coming from compost. If you can do compost, that's better. Then you look at the temperature. Tomatoes, they don't grow well in shade, in shade areas. They need open space. They need open space. If possible, make sure that where you are going to grow them, it is open enough to get at least when it is rising and when it is setting off, at least they get that sun. They get that vitamin D for proper growth. So basically, those are kind of requirements it needs. They were talking about the variety selection, which is a key. Variety selection, you need to look at a variety that is disease resistant. Talk of Aso, talk of Asida, talk of Rio Grande. Those are varieties that can at least resist the diseases. So when you are planting tomatoes, be keen when you are selecting the variety. Select a variety that grows very fast, that resists diseases, but even the shelf life. Here in the garden, and even after harvesting. Now, take an example. A person goes to Nakasero, that's the market in Kampala here. Just where I've put Nakasero, put your trading center where you are. You are there. Then you take it home. You don't eat all the 5 tomatoes. You are 2. You need to leave some in the shelf so that you eat it next day. Will that tomato you bought survive that period? That's the tomato we need on the market. So that's the type of tomato we need to plant. Some people are growing tomatoes on stakes, and others are growing it on the normal way. Others are growing it in the greenhouse. Those are all forms of farming. But which one is better? Each one has its advantage. Like the one where you grow on stakes, you see it gives a lot of tomatoes because there is a lot of pruning, there is a lot of management, there is a lot of disease control. Because when you stake a tomato, you are at least allowing it to run away from the agents that are causing diseases. That is the soil down there, where germs and all that can cause diseases. So it grows upwards so that it cannot get such problems. That's why it gives a lot. And then you do some bit of pruning because you unnecessarily, the one that's have grown old, you remove them, the leaves, extra branches, we are told to. I don't know why, when you grow them tomatoes on a normal, like you mulch, you plant them down there, we don't consider pruning. They just grow on their own. So they struggle. Some they flower and they don't get enough light, as I told you, some flowers drop off. But if it is staked, every flower that comes has at least the ability to put on. And because you have removed some excess branches and leave what is enough, they will just utilize the nutrients you have put down here, the manure, maximally to put on to its ability. That's why here it is. The same thing in the greenhouse. Greenhouse, you have controlled environment. There are no diseases, there are no pests because it is enclosed. And if you are to go there in the greenhouse, there are specific varieties, and we call them hot varieties, or greenhouse varieties, the varieties that can at least manage and survive the temperatures. There are hot temperatures down, inside there. And there are varieties that can survive there. And those varieties, that's why for them they grow. You find a tomato that can give you and serve you for over a year because it grows as it climbs and you keep harvesting. So it's always better to look at where you had planted something resembles a tomato. Don't again put it there will be a kind of carry over of pests unless otherwise, but we don't need to repeat. If you plant tomatoes today this season, then next season at least plant maybe a cucurbit family so that the pests that are there, they can die, because the pests that eat cucurbits are not common that they also eat the tomato. You get my point? So that is we call it integrated pest management. You need also to know the type of pest attacking you. We have the sucking pests, we have the stinging pests, we have the chewing pests. So you need to know which type of pests. If before you confront them, know the type of pest attacking you. Then two, you need also to know the diseases that also attacking you, because they are pests and they are diseases. Mostly we don't have so many diseases in tomato. We always have root rot, we always have blight, early and late. We always have fusarium, that wilt. Those are some of the common, but the pests are so many. We have on the market. Be aware that we have bichupulis, duplicate chemicals. People there, outside there, they duplicate. Buy from reliable sources. That's what the point I'm communicating. If you are to go, then get some consultants to help you. Use the people at the Gombola level, those production officers. Call them. If you have an acre, you are entitled to be visited by a Gombola production officer. Where is the money in tomato? The money in tomato, by the way, whoever ever gone to tomato knows that if you are to get money in tomato, you need to target when others are seated. I repeat, money in tomato is when someone is wise and plant tomatoes when others are seated. When is this time? This time is during especially the drought season. A young entrepreneur, you a kind of person who have just graduated, you find what to do. These are some of the activities, some of the projects you can start. Because tomatoes, within the first 4-6 months, you realize a profit or a loss, depending on what we are sharing with you here, than any other project. Coffee, you need 3 years, but tomatoes, get from me, from 1 acre, you can harvest between 100 to 120 boxes, what we call a ply. Ply, those are boxes of 120 kilograms. My humble request and advice to the youth out there, you go into tomato. You don't need to go into tomato on a large scale, because the next day you will just tell me that we don't have money still to start. Don't go into business you don't have knowledge about. Now I've told you about tomato. You have got some tips about tomato, but you have the right to call us and give you more knowledge.
Agronomic practices for tomato production. Tomatoes are a rewarding crop, but success starts long before the first seed touches the soil. A careful mix of preparation, good timing, and smart crop management can make all the difference from seed harvest. Before you plant, land selection. Start with the right foundation. Choose land with fertile, well-drained soil and aim for a pH between 6.0 and 7.0. A quick soil test will give you a clearer picture of what your soil can support and what it may lack. Preparing the soil. Give your plants the best start by plowing and harrowing the field until the soil is fine and crumbly. This not only eases root penetration but also helps improve water retention. Dig in any broad-leveled weeds like wandering Jew, blackjack, or Mexican fireplant to enrich the soil with organic matter. Picking the right seed. Go for top-quality seeds, especially varieties that are known to resist common tomato diseases. Hybrid Victor F1 is a reliable option that performs well under the right conditions. Manure application. Work in well-rooted manure at least 2 weeks before planting. This gives the organic matter time to break down, improving soil structure and nutrient content. Planting practices. The best time to plant. Timing is everything. Farmers with irrigation can plant all year round. If you rely on rainfall, target the rainy seasons, March to May or September to November, for better yields. Spacing matters. How you space your plants affects everything from air circulation to disease control. Use 3 feet by 3 feet spacing for non-stacked tomatoes. For stacked varieties, allow 5 feet between rows and 2 feet between plants. Transplanting seedlings. Transplant your seedlings 2 weeks after germination, once they've developed strong roots and at least 3 to 4 true leaves. Managing your crop. Watering. Tomatoes need consistent moisture, especially during flowering and fruiting. Don't leave it to chance. Supplement with irrigation when rains are available. Fertilization. Apply a balanced, phosphorus-rich fertilizer like Biopower Starter at planting to encourage healthy root development. Follow up with a nitrogen boost such as Biopower Extra 2 to 3 weeks after transplanting to support flowering and fruit set. Pests and diseases. Stay alert. Common pests include tomato leaf miners, aphids, and whiteflies. Watch out for diseases like early blight and bacteria spots. Use integrated pest management to reduce damage, combining cultural, biological, and chemical control methods when necessary. After the harvest, picking your fruit. Harvest tomatoes when they've reached the right stage, mature green or fully ripe, based on what your buyers want. Handling with care. Rough handling can bruise tomatoes and shorten shelf life. Use soft hands and clean containers to keep them in top condition. Proper storage. Store your harvest in a cool, dry space to maintain freshness and extend shelf life. It's a simple but crucial step to preserve both quality and value. It has been quite a treat for us, if I must say, and that's all we had for you today. You keep those comments coming in. You want the conversation to keep flowing. You want us to look at a particular enterprise. We'll scan that QR code on your TV. And also remember, speaking of your TV, remember to download the Your TV app if you want to watch us on the go and live. See you again next week. Thank you so much for watching this show, and it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you.